Welcome to Stories and Songs by Afterglow Music. My name is Joel McCausland.
And I'm Kevin Peay, and we've been creating music for a long time.
We'd like to tell you the stories behind our songs.
Joel, you wrote a song called Life Well Lived, and we put it on the Walk With Me album.
Mm-hmm.
Can you tell us more about where this came from?
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting story because in a previous episode, we've talked about the song Walk With Me, which was the title cut of that album. And that was a song I wrote for my cousin Darren, who passed away, 12 years or so ago now. And it was obviously a very emotional time for me. I was asked to sing at his funeral, and I wanted to write a song for his funeral, and I couldn't. And it actually took me a couple of years after he passed before I wrote Walk With Me and finished it and felt like I'd created a song that did proper tribute to the way I saw his life. But along the way, I tried a few others, and I sat down to write a song. And actually, this probably wasn't even finished till after his funeral. We ended up singing a song called Blessings, which is a Christian contemporary tune, and beautiful, really appropriate for his funeral. I sang it with one of his cousins, and it was great. But it was interesting in the process here, because anytime we lose someone, and if we're musically inclined and we think we might want to write a song about it, I found myself really struggling to capture the essence of that person, what they'd meant to me and what they did for me. And in the case of Darren, it was a long process before I felt like I'd gotten to that place where I was saying what I needed to say about him. But this song sort of emerged from that process. And the more I've looked back on this one, and I've sung it at several funerals since then, which is kind of interesting, it is definitely a reflection on the life of someone who's recently passed. That's the setting for it. And it could be applicable to a man or a woman who's passed. In fact, we kind of wrote it that way and put it together that way. But this one has come to have some additional meaning to me. It's kind of an old-fashioned musical style. It's kind of even a little bit old-fashioned in the way we reflect on the person. And so it's ended up being a song for a lot of the people that are in the generation older than me who have passed in the last few years. I've done it for neighbors. I've done it for a few family members. And it always feels to me like even if it's not really personalized to that person, it always feels appropriate. It just feels like that reflection on what that generation has given to us, and in some cases the very person themselves, has made this song one that I appreciate more now than I did when I wrote it. Because when I wrote it, it felt kind of like a failure that I wasn't getting to the one I wanted to write.
Wow. And whenever we go to a celebration of life or we go to a funeral, I think when we insert ourselves, specifically me, it's a reflection immediately on where am I at in my life. Mm-hmm. And when my time comes, what will be said and what will be the legacy? This happened unexpectedly to a dear friend of mine who passed recently, age of 74. And he has done so much good in the world through foundation work. So much good. And I'm wondering, sometimes you learn about people who have these unconscious planning times in their life where they've set things up unknowingly, and all of a sudden they were thinking, not consciously, that they were going to leave, but yet maybe being prompted that their time was coming soon. And this happened in this particular case, with some planning to the family that was behind the scenes that they learned of later, and we hear those a lot. But in this case, he had done so much good that even Garth Brooks and Trisha Yearwood show up at his funeral.
That's amazing.
And when I walked out of that funeral and that celebration, it was, whoa. This is a person who was consistently in motion, in service, in giving, philanthropically, finding new ways for people to be lifted. So much that the reason why there was a connection there is because there was so much philanthropic work done from his organization to support Garth and Trisha's purposes
what
as
they
well.
were doing, yeah.
What they were doing. And so grateful that this song covers a pretty wide opportunity for all of us. What will be our legacy? How will we have served mankind? And when we walk out of this mortal life, and we have the opportunity to transition and be called elsewhere to a new realm, will our personalities be to the point where we can continue on that wonderful opportunity? And will we have developed in service along the way. And if for some reason we struggle with that, how do we reset to do that?
Yeah. I hope when my time comes, people will say something as nice as this about me. I doubt that's going to happen, but it was funny just after I wrote this song, and I'm really kind of racking my brain here trying to remember whose memorial it was. But I did it several times in a row. And I remember singing this song, and it was for a woman who had passed away. And she was in, later years for sure, probably late 80s. And the funeral got over, and I'm cleaning up my equipment and getting ready to leave. And another woman came up who I didn't know, but who was in about that same age range, kind of a little feeble, kind of shuffles up to where I was. And she grabbed my arm and she said, "You captured her so perfectly." And I thought, wow, that's cool, because of course I didn't really even know her. And it's just the idea that we can look at the legacy that's left to us by people that have come before. You and I have been blessed. Many of the people we know have been blessed by good parents and others. And I think about that, we're at a time in our lives where that generation is disappearing. The one that's older than us, that raised us and taught us and corrected us sometimes, and the blessings that come from that it's immense. It's just an amazing legacy that's been left to us. And now that, we're kind of at a place where we hope we can leave that legacy for the generations behind us now.
We all come to stay for a little while. Some of us longer than others. And while we are here, we learn how to grow with our brothers and sisters, fathers and mothers. But to every life an end must come. A short time apart from each other. Though she is gone, her spirit lives on, and her legacy lights our way. What we've lost won't compare at all to what she left behind. The love she shared is alive and well, deep in our hearts and minds, showing examples, leading the way, teaching us how to give. She brought a blessing to all in her way, for hers was a life well lived. Once there was one who showed the way, and he did it perfectly. And through his love and light from above, we can find our way home with our family, living each day to honor him, and serving the sheep of his fold. We too can be a light to them, whether we're young or old. What we've lost won't compare at all to what he left behind. shared is alive and well, deep in our hearts and minds, showing examples, leading the way, teaching us how to give. He brought a blessing to all in his way, for his was a life well lived. For his was a life well